Hi, welcome. I'm Geraldine. I'm your coach and trainer today. And today we'll discuss about somatic coaching. So we're here to demystify somatic coaching and to learn what it is and to understand how we can use somatic coaching techniques in our coaching sessions. So this topic is very, very close to my heart because it's one of the reasons I became a coach in the first place. I decided to become a coach, a professional coach, and a personal trainer to help people be more mentally, emotionally, and physically aligned. And I started as a coach by really focusing on how the body can help with our transformation. So how we can leverage our physicality to improve our psychology. So that's why this topic is extremely close to my heart, and I'm very passionate about it. And I strongly believe it can make a huge difference when we use somatic coaching techniques in our traditional coaching sessions. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Here we are. Okay. Yes, I'm just checking. Okay, somatic coaching. So can you just reflect one moment on this quote? Okay. The body expresses what words cannot. And try to think about what is your body expressing at the moment in the past few days that you couldn't verbalize. And for me, it's very clear. I've been pretty stressed lately. And I was really feeling a lot of stress and lots of pain in my shoulders, in the back. And I was just listening to my body and trying to see, where is this coming from? How come I'm stressed at the moment? What is my body telling me? And I've realized that I was a bit overwhelmed with lots of responsibilities at work and at home. And I know that it's time to slow down. So this is the message my body sent me recently. What is yours? So let's get started. Today, this is what we will cover. We'll cover what is somatic coaching. We'll discuss about the body-mind connection. We'll discuss about the 3 core principles of somatic coaching. We'll look at some techniques. We'll cover some questions that you can use in somatic coaching sessions. And we'll cover some case studies. So why is this topic important today? Because in our busy world, people can find very difficult to connect with their body. We spend a huge amount of time working like I do now on my desk, watching my screen, doing Zoom, and we don't really use our body, right? So we become fragmented. And we don't even realize it. And that's why somatic coaching can be so powerful. It can help people reconnect with their body and leverage the intelligence that is in our body. And here today, we're going to demystify what somatic coaching is, and we're going to learn simple techniques to use in coaching. Okay, and as coaches, we also need to use somatic coaching as a way to develop ourselves as an instrument to foster growth. And we are also role models for our clients in terms of how we use our body, our sensation, our intuition to help them grow. So by tapping into our physical intelligence, we can help our client as well. All right, that might sound a bit abstract. Don't worry, there will be some examples. So just let me share one example of a client that I worked with a few years ago. One day, a therapist, a friend of mine, called me and said, I have a client, is extremely stressed by his board meetings, and he has almost panic attacks when he's having this board meeting. We used many different methods, but I cannot help him. I think you might be able to help him with your somatic approach. Say, fine, let's just send it to me and we'll discuss. And there was a good fit, and we decided to focus on the body, the physical reaction to distress. So we focused on his breathing. We focused on the physical sensation that were emerging during those board meetings. And I used a lot of different techniques. So mindfulness techniques, grounding techniques, and even postural assessment techniques. And it really helped Alex release this stress and become much more confident to attend those board meetings. So this is an example of a somatic approach. Now, let's look at the definition. What is somatic coaching? It's a holistic approach that integrates three things. 1, body awareness. 2, sensation. And 3, movement. The objective, transform, grow. Soma, it's from the Greek term of body. Okay, so traditional coaching is mainly focused on the brain, on the mindset, the mental processes, while somatic coaching mainly focus on the body, the sensation, and the awareness of our physical reactions. Okay, why? What's the rationale behind somatic coaching? Basically, the rationale is that our body holds memories and emotions. And there's plenty of studies that demonstrate that. Our body holds memories and emotions, and this influence our behavior and choices. Okay, so if we work on our body, we can work on our memories and our emotion, and we can influence the outcome. Okay, and I just want you maybe to take a time. You can pause the recording and just recall a time when you felt a gut feeling about a decision. Just recall, maybe today, maybe last week. When was that? That's the body's wisdom at play. This is your body reacting and communicating with you. Now, also, I want you to recall to just focus on your posture and think about a moment where you were sad. How was your posture at that time? Most of the time, we are just slouched like this, kind of heavy, right? When we're sad. How about when you're confident? Usually when we're confident, we're just really open, able to breathe a lot, and standing tall. This interplay is where psychology meets somatics. And this is what we want to understand a bit more. And we want to understand a bit more, and that's the reason why we will try to investigate, to understand what's happening in our body. And we'll use somatic coaching to do that. So somatic coaching is a bottom-up approach, okay? Meaning that we'll focus on the body, and then we'll try to understand what's happening in the brain, in the mind, yes. Traditional coaching is more a top-down approach. We talk, we stay in the brain, we are very logical, and then we'll try to understand our emotions and our body reaction. What I found the most powerful is when you combine both. Bottom-up approach and top-down approaches together are really, really impactful. So let's deconstruct and try to understand and use our brain to understand somatic coaching. So body-mind connections, we all know there's so many connections and there's so many impact, bottom-up and top-down. We know that chronic stress can impact our health, right? And can impact the way we feel, our well-being. And you know that up to 90% of doctor visits are for stress-related issues. That's huge, meaning that those issues are created by our brain, basically. Yeah? So our body very often mirrors our emotion. And where we are angry, our muscles may be tensed. When we relax, we are very fluid in our movement. And you can see, even when we observe people on the street, what is the mindset of this person walking very fast and with a kind of rigid posture? What is the mindset of this lady talking very gently with smooth movement to her colleague? And let me ask you, which emotion do you feel most physically? Take time to reflect. And for me, I'm not very clear between anger that comes very, very intense here and lots of energy and super intense when I'm angry, and also stress that can be also here in my chest, pretty intense. So those are the ones for me that I feel the most physically. How about you? Think about your emotions, and it can be positive emotions. Someone answered happiness last time. So why are we looking at the body-mind connection? Because it's important to understand that, unfortunately, very often, and I can talk for my case, I've been trained to suppress my emotion as a kid. My generation, many people, emotions were not okay to share, to show, to feel. It's not okay to be angry. It's not okay to be sad. It's not so. We've been trained as kids to suppress or change our emotions and the states that is connected to the emotion. So let's say anger, we say, no, it's not okay to be angry. So you say, okay, no, that's okay. I'm not angry. Yeah, I'm not angry. That's totally okay. And you turn anger into a fun reaction. Okay, so you do that again and again. So you create new neural pathway, and then you tend to suppress your emotion without realizing it, because it's your default mode. Okay, so we suppress some emotions. Sadness, when don't be sad. It's gonna be okay. Don't be sad. So it's not okay to be sad. All right. So you train yourself to not be sad and to suppress it and not even acknowledge it. And then sadness disappears from your conscious mind, but it stays in your unconscious mind. And sadness will stay in your unconscious mind, angriness as well, and it will create physical reactions. So I'm sure you've all been in this situation, like the one I was mentioning. Okay, you don't know what's happening, but suddenly you have a lot of stress. You have your neck pain. And then what are you going to do? You're going to just focus on the symptoms, and you're going to get some, I don't know, you're going to some massage or something to help with the neck pain. But the real issue is probably that you have suppressed some emotions. You don't even know that. And your body has created this physical pain to send you a message. So we know that most of the information we have cannot be processed at the conscious level. And 95% of our thoughts, maybe more, are going directly at the subconscious level, and then they manifest physically. So that's why somatic coaching works, because if we use the body, we can unlock, process emotions that we are not even aware from our conscious perspective. So we will use the body to release some stress, some anger, some sadness, and to feel better and more aligned. Okay, what are the 3 core principles of somatic coaching? Movement, presence, sensation. Let me explain each of them in more detail. So movement, when you think about movement, you might think people dancing and just doing moves, big moves. Yes, it exists, and there's some dance therapy, amazing yoga, Tai Chi practices that are kind of somatic approaches. When, as a coaches, it's not only about doing big movement or huge physical action. It's sometimes more about channeling emotions through slow motion. You can change your physiology to change your psychology. Okay, and you can use some just simple movement to release stress or to release blockers, physical blockers. And I love this quote from Martha Graham, an amazing choreographer and dancer: "The body never lies." And I fully agree with that. As a personal trainer, when I go with my clients in the training room, I can tell you the body never lies. The way people move, the fluidity or the rigidness, and the way they approach workouts, it tells a lot about how they feel and their mental operating system. So that was number 1, movement. The second one is presence. So presence, we're talking here about being now, not in the past, not in the future. And we know it's difficult, right? And apparently half of the time, almost half of the time, we are mind wandering, meaning we are not in the present. So that's okay not to be in the present, but we can be more present and work on it a bit to improve this percentage. So what tool, those tools, it's mindfulness, meditation, breathing. And one of the very, very important skill that we have as a coach is active listening. So presence is also one of the core principles of somatic coaching. So we have movement, we have presence. And last one, sensation. Sensation is the language of the body. How does our body communicate? With sensation. Okay, whether we feel cold, warm, tensed, relaxed, this is the body sending us messages. Sensations are messengers. Okay, so this is a very, very important point. Sensations are messengers. So it's intellectually, I'm sure you can understand it. Now, the challenge is to practice and feel it. And I'm trying to do that on a daily basis, just to take some time and to really, really pay attention to what's happening in my body. And just do it now. Try to relax, open up, ground yourself, make sure you're standing tall, and just pay attention. What's happening in your stomach, in your chest? Where can you feel sensations in your body? How is it? Is it static? Is it dynamic? Try to really pay attention to your body and use those sensations to understand the messages. So this, as a coach, it's very important to develop your interoception, your ability to feel the physical sensation and understand your emotions and messages. Okay? Gut feelings is definitely a sensation when you have this, feeling in your tummy that you've just realized something, or there's something here. Okay? And that's why it's called the second brain, because there's a huge, vast neural network. So what I would recommend if you really want to use somatic coaching is really to train yourself on a daily basis. Take some time just to listen to your body, reconnect with your physical sensation. Be compassionate and do not judge, and try to just listen to your body. So the 3 principles of somatic coaching are let me just movement, presence, and sensation. Okay, now let's look at the techniques. What techniques? So I've shared a lot of techniques already that we use in somatic coaching. So those techniques are very simple, yet very impactful. And what matters if you want to have an impact is to know when to use those techniques and with whom. At which stage of the coaching relationship can you start using those techniques? How? For which topic? So this you have to practice to assess when and how and with whom to use those techniques. But let me give you 8 of them. So the first one is a body scan meditation. It's used to develop mindfulness, release tension, and identify areas of discomfort or disconnection. Second one, I mentioned it, it's grounding. It's really to make sure that you are anchored in the moment. Okay? And it's a great way to build presence as well. Third one, breathing techniques. So there's plenty, a huge range of breathing techniques. I won't cover that today, but it's just really, really amazing techniques for any types of challenges. Movement. So you can use gentle, intentional movements like in yoga or Tai Chi to release physical tension and to reconnect again. Visualization. I love visualization. So you can use mental imagery to explore and transform bodily sensation. So let's say, oh, you have all this anxiety in your chest. Can you create a safe container where you would put this anxiety? So help your client visualize and change and move and shift some physical sensation and create imagery to release emotions. Okay. I love the 6th one as well, the number 6, emotional body mapping. So this is when you associate emotions with specific areas of the body. Let's say you have back pain, and you will associate in your back at different parts some emotions, and then you can get more insight on how this emotion, why is it here? How come? What's happening? What is this one just above? And what is this one? And you can just do a mapping and address stored emotional traumas. Vocal. So I trained a drama coach, and she mentioned a lot of vocal. Sorry, I just have vocal techniques. And then centering your body. So I do, as a personal trainer, I use some postural assessment techniques, and I will try to help people be more aligned, head, heart, and gut, just to make sure that you're really aligned. So people standing or people still sitting, and then I will coach what's happening at the moment in your head, in your heart, in your gut, and just trying to help people be more aligned. So those are some of the techniques that you can use in somatic coaching. Now, before I share some ideas of questions you can ask, I want you to take your pen, paper, and maybe write 3 to 5 questions that you think could be relevant when you start exploring the body with your client. Press pause and just take time to think. Why am I asking that? Because if you try to do this effort, you will just be remember much more. Okay. Now, you will, those are some of the great questions you can ask. So how are you feeling in your body right now? Can you describe the sensation? Where in your body do you feel that emotion most intensely? If that sensation has a color or a shape, what would it be? Can you describe the texture? When did you notice this sensation? Can you notice any new sensation happening as we talk? How have you felt this way before? When was the first time you felt this way? How has this feeling helped you in the past? If this sensation were to move, where might it go? How might it transform? What parts of your body feel strong or grounded right now? I love this one because it's like when you do, when you focus on strength in traditional coaching session, this one is really focusing on the physical strength as well, which is an amazing one. How safe do you feel in your body? Can you remember a moment you felt safe? And then you can also mirror and share what you see. Oh, I've seen a change in your posture. What's happening? What is this shift about? Oh, I've noticed a change of expression, facial expression. What is this about? Okay. Now, let's look at some case studies. All right, so those are the questions you can ask, and I'm going to share some case studies. Let's look at the overwhelmed manager. And again, if you want to learn, okay. Okay, sorry, there's some distractions behind. Let me just... Okay, so case study number 1. The overwhelmed manager. I want you to think before you look at the answer solutions. What would you do as a somatic coach if you were to coach Laura? So Laura is a middle manager in a tech firm, and she constantly feel overwhelmed, okay? And she has no deadlines though, but she always feels rushed and she can't concentrate during team meetings. So what would you do? Try to press pause and think and write down. And let me share what I would do. So I would do a body scan meditation. So I would guide Laura through a full body awareness exercise, beginning from her toes and moving up to her head. Okay, just to look at the sensation and try to release also the tension. And then I would do some breathing exercise, and I would focus on deep diaphragmatic breathing, focusing on the exhale to activate our parasympathetic nervous system. So that's number 2. And I will also do grounding. And grounding combined with visualization. So grounding herself and helping her visualize how she can grow some roots in her toes and see her very grounded on the floor with roots and using the energy from the earth, to feel aligned. Okay, so those, I would have conversation, I would do bottom up, but also top down approaches. And this is how I would help Laura. And it would help her to feel, to realize that she's constricted, and it would help her be more present in meetings, and it would help her focus and concentrate a bit more. Okay, so that's Laura. Another case study is the one from Raj. So Raj is the founder of a successful startup, and he has a lot of back pain. And there's no structural issues. So what you can do postural assessment, trying to understand how he sit and how he stand. You can do a bit of somatic movements to release tensions in the lumbar area, some stretching. Also, this is kind of movement I use, stretching exercises, activities with my clients. And just to release the burden that had become physical, carrying all the troubles and the issues from his startup on his shoulders that has impacted his pain. Okay, so this would help Raj. Okay, and maybe let's talk about Sarah to end this call, before we end this call, this webinar. So Sarah, she's a perfectionist, and I'm sure you have plenty of clients like that. I just had one conversation with one yesterday. So she's a perfectionist and she's extremely meticulous. And she started to develop migraines. And what I would do with Sarah, I would do some sensory grounding. What does it mean? It means that we use many different senses to ground ourselves. So we use sounds. What are the sounds you're hearing now? We use smells. We use tactile also, just to reconnect. What can you touch? What can you feel now? Okay. And visual also, what do you see? Can you pick 5 objects? So I would use these sensory groundings, which really help feel in the present and be here and now with all your senses. I would use also visualization to create a container where she could place her anxiety. And I would combine that with affirmation integration. So perfection is not the only path to success, for instance. Okay, and this would help Sarah to be more present, more focused on herself, her sensation, and it would help her be a bit more forgiving of minor slip-ups. Okay. All right, so thank you very much. This is the end of this webinar. I've recorded because many of you really wanted to have to learn about somatic coaching and to learn how they can incorporate some techniques in their sessions. So I hope this was helpful. Again, as a coach, it's great to learn somatic techniques, somatic coaching for our clients. But I think what we need to focus on is just to focus on ourselves first as coaches, to develop ability to use movements, presence, and sensations for us as an instrument for our clients' growth. Being able to say, oh, I feel some tension now. What's happening? Can you tell me? Or I can sense a very strong emotion here in this room. What is it? Just using your body as well to know when to ask this question, use your intuition and your emotions to know what's going on in the room. So if we do that, we become role model for our clients, and they will do the same for themselves, and they will grow. Thank you very much for your attention, and have a good end of the day, have a good morning, afternoon, and see you soon. Bye.